All praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Hashem Ruach HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders that create both stone that rule well. Taught us his epic truth to the Spirit. And salutation and blessings into the hopeful elect. There's a lot going on. Alright, it's a fucking understatement. Okay. It's really, it's insulting to what's really transpiring right now. Okay. Primarily here, the exposure of Esau, Edom, which links up to his end when somebody who's been performing deception, somebody whose their primary tactics were seated, were rooted in deception. Now, when that deception is being exposed, then their rulership and their effective means of the control of the people and the power that they have obtained, it's now waning. Okay, meaning it's dissipating. And your downfall comes after that. You get exposed. So that's even carnally, and that's even a principle of life that's easily ascertainable in the mind, because that's just on the surface. Not to mention the scriptures that link up. We bring them out often. The three top ones that come to mind: 2 Thessalonians, right? That speaks about how that the end would come after the man of sin is revealed. You have Isaiah 47, that he would be uncovered and made bare. And then, Salakia, not only does it say 2 Thessalonians that the end would not come after them until the man of sin is revealed, that which pretty much allows you to deduce, and it fucking tells you right there, it's telling you right there that after the man of sin is revealed, that the end would come. Okay. But it also says that that the Heavenly Father would consume him. He would consume him, the man of sin, the mystery of iniquity, with the mouth. How's that worded? He would consume him with his mouth. Okay, now we gotta get it. And then said, and destroy him with the brightness of his coming, to show you after this man is revealed, then destruction would be unleashed upon him. And then yet we know that that's going to culminate in the form of Yahushai. Okay, with the spirit of his mouth. I just remembered it before I even checked it. But that it's going to culminate with the deployment of Yahushai. Okay? Meaning he's going to be deployed from the heavens, from his seat at the right hand of the Heavenly Father, and roll down here. Going to appear, right? Go through, a wormhole. You can only imagine. Because heaven is not in a place that you can map out the coordinates, so he's not going to take a trajectory. Okay, we have this voyage to take from heaven that we have to travel here and pop in on earth. No, he's going to teleport here with an innumerable armada of ships. Okay. And that's dope, because he said, Trump was over here talking about how we're going to deploy a beautiful armada that has been pretty much stationed over there off the coast of, wherever Iran is, off the coast of that landmass, that are ready to, and whether it's ground troops, naval, probably a mixture of both, you know, ground troops, naval troops, and then with the naval is you have aircraft carriers, right, ready, that are off the coast, aircraft carriers that will deploy the air forces, right? But he said we have a beautiful armada ready to go, stationed and prepared to pretty much roll on Iran, right? But no, the Heavenly Father has a beautiful armada that's ready to invade this fucking place in what the world ignorantly perceives and has a fear. There's a mutual fear of all the rulership, the people in power across the planet, which we know it's the elites, but they have their appointed leaders of these different countries that they're all have a mutual fear of a so-called alien invasion, right? An extraterrestrial threat that they said they would band their differences together to fight against. But the Most High has that prepared to invade this fucking place, okay? On some, just to give you a depiction, something that you can perceive in your mind, to basically replace it with, so you have a picture on some fucking Independence Day shit, okay? That type of fucking aerial vehicles, chariots, flying saucers, to pop in on this fucking place, okay? But here it says, right, that Yahweh will consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. We know that's the deployment of Yahweh Shai. All right? Garen fucking teeth. But let's see what you got here. And then Isaiah 47, he will be revealed and he will be laid bare. The great Babylon, and then, Esau, Edom, and then the Heavenly Father's Son, Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls JC, is going to, it says, will not beat thee as a man, okay? And then, of course, Habakkuk, the second chapter, I believe 17 or 18, it says that the cup of the Heavenly Father's right hand shall be passed through unto thee, right? And shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So these are fucking epic times that we're in. Epic fucking times of the exposure of the straight up physical carnation of the devil, of fucking Satan, which is the so-called white man. And you can see that they're sniveling fucking goblins. They're literally like the depictions that you see of like a vampire, or what are those motherfuckers in these different fictional like fantasy type movies with the huge fucking nose with warts on it, okay? I can't think of it, but like on some, what's that movie series, book series originally, like on some Lord of the Rings shit, right? But goblins, they're fucking a sniveling fucking hobgoblin that these people are. And what do you have in this picture? Fucking Epstein, Clinton, and motherfucking Mick Jagger, okay? Which has been revealed, Apostle Gabar brought this out, and then we conducted subsequent research on it. Basically, the Rolling Stones, they stole all their music from Jake's, just like a lot of these Edomite bands have done, right? They fucking stole the whole riffs, all the guitar riffs, literally the notes, the musical notes of what, the drum solos, the guitar solos, the guitar riffs, whole songs like musical arrangements of these different musical instruments that you put together to form different songs and jingles, melodies, all that stolen. Not to mention, how they, the lyrics and shit. Because you listen to some of those tracks and you think, Edomites speaking like that. Okay. There you go. But you see them here with potentially, baby intestines. Because it's already been revealed that they eat human flesh. Okay? Of babies and children that they've sacrificed. Okay? We know that he does this. And we'll go into the scriptures as well and prove this, how people actually do this. And, how the Canaanites, Ham, so-called Africans, they did this in history. Okay? Many people have cannibalized, prey, pretty much, like they are participants in cannibalization, or cannibalism, Slovakia. Absolutely. You'd be out of your fucking mind not to think that was an actual thing. Oh, these guys, they're race baiters, they make shit up. No, this is a reality, you fucking piece of shit. And people feast on human flesh. And we know you saw Edom. Come on, guaranteed, amongst many other detestable things. This man is being fucking revealed as this on the caption. So they've got plates of potentially human flesh, whether it be their organs or whatever. Here it's postulated that it is probably intestines of a child, of a baby. They said it had a cream cheese taste because they ate the baby's intestine, which might have been filled with digested milk nutrients. And this is the type of info that was in the Epstein files. Okay? Which is like law enforcement, I believe FBI, retrieved intel on what was going down at this whole Epstein operation. And it's not an Epstein operation. He was simply a middleman. He was simply, one of the components of it, one of the proponents of this type of world. This is a whole world. This is a whole ring it's a global ring of, different Edomites and even other nations. But primarily we're focusing on the so-called white man, so-called white race. The things that they do as it pertains to child trafficking, child sexual deviancy, okay, child sacrifice, and all these under that umbrella, okay. And one of the pieces of information in those files was that I think this is straight up out of the files. This quote was that they were eating baby intestines. Okay. And we know that child, so this had to be a breastfeeding child, baby that was still on the titty. Okay. That's why it had this taste to it, because it was still on breast milk. It's fucking crazy, right? But we know, no problem that he did. This isn't far-fetched, okay? We know he's doing this shit, because the scriptures tell us. We're going to finish off in that. We'll actually go straight to this in the G&T, because this is in reference to the Canaanites, right? The sins of the Canaanites. But we're going to show you right now that Esau, the so-called white man, so the progenitor of the white race, he's the forefather, the first ancestor, if you will. Well, if you know what a progenitor is, right? You should know what the fuck that is. He's the progenitor of the white race. So as we say, this is your first daddy. What your people go back to. What did he do? He married into the Canaanites. He married into the Canaanites, which was forbidden by their his parents. Jacob and Esau's parents forbade him to do that, to only marry within your lineage and not go outside, all right, to motherfucking, because look, you even had Ishmaelites, right, because Esau and Jacob's father was Isaac, and Isaac's older brother was Ishmael, so you did have, say, the daughters of Ishmael or the granddaughters of Ishmael that were around at that time. They told them, don't marry in with them, don't marry into the daughters of Ham. So, you know, the descendants of Ham, you know, one of them being Canaan, who I believe it was the main one to get cursed. Because we know Ham is fucking cursed, but I believe Canaan, right? But you have the other ones, Put, and all that, right? But they were forbidden from marrying into these other lineages. See, it says in Genesis 28. See, and 6, when Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. See? There you go. And Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Padan Aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, or Nebaioth, to be his wife. Okay? And then it tells you right here, we're going to go back 2 chapters, in the last 2 verses, Genesis 26 and 34. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, okay, and Bashemoth, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, okay, and we know fucking Hittites were motherfucking Canaanites, okay, we can prove that. And what did it do? Let's read what it did. It said, and by doing that, what did it do? It brought grief says, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and Rebekah, because he told them not to do it. Okay? See, the Hittites, Ham, from Ham. There you go. The Hittites were descendants of Canaan, a son of Ham. Okay? See that? There you go. So we know he married into, and the reason why marrying outside of your lineage, primarily, well, any peoples, but primarily Israel, because what was it told? It was not advised to take a wife. Concubine is one thing, but it was advised throughout these scriptures not to take a wife of the other nations, because the reason why is because you can, it's likely that you take on their customs. I'll give you an example. That just like what Solomon did. Okay, when you get up with a woman and she puts her fucking wiles upon you, as it said. That's why he said that shit. He said, I find a woman more bitter than death. He said, her hands, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Why the fuck would he say that? Because his mind was being swayed and he was getting trapped up by them. See, so he dealt with thousands of women. So he knew this is how they got down, and he probably at certain times, because we know how he ended up, but all the way leading up to how he got to that state, he was probably trying to fight that temptation to be given over to these fucking women, take on their customs and shit, culture. See? So let's read this. Let's read the customs and culture of Ham, of the Canaanites. It says in Wisdom of Solomon 12:3, you hated the people who lived in your holy land. This is in reference to the Most High, right? Because they did horrible things. They practiced magic and conducted unholy worship. They killed children without mercy and ate the flesh and blood of human beings. They were initiated into secret rituals in which parents murdered their own defenseless children. It was your will for our ancestors to destroy these people. Okay? So this is the culture and customs of the Hamites, which we know that Esau married into. So he adopted their ways all the way back in the origins of the so-called white race. And today he does the same fucking shit. Okay? But the thing is that it's a lot more detrimental for Esau, Edom, to practice these customs because he's the most influential race on the planet. and powerful. That's the main reason why it's so detrimental, because he's so fucking powerful. So he can actually practice this with freedom. Okay? He's got more resources in which to propagate this type of shit. He's got more money and influence and power and pull in order to have whole operations where this is at the center of. Okay? Because as we've come to find out, whole rings of child sacrifice, child cannibalism, child sex rings. Okay? Yeah? So let's finish it off. In Hebrews 12:16, to show you that even despite the sins of Canaan, the type of shit they're into, there's nobody worse. There's not a worse people on the planet. There's not a worse race on the planet than the white race. The most detestable people on the planet. It says in Hebrews 12 and 16, least there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Okay? But no, it's not just that man, Esau, it's his descendants. Because you are your fathers. You operate the same way. Not only are you reincarnated versions of your forefathers, but you're the same fucking people. You have that spirit in you. That's why Habakkuk, the second chapter, goes into this. His spirit is not upright within him, within them, these people. Okay? Tells you, can a leopard change his spots? Or can a crooked thing be made straight? So just as that is not possible, cannot one that is accustomed to do evil do any righteousness? It's impossible. Okay? So let's just really quick go into these terms. Pornos, for fornicator. A man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse. Yeah, we know he does all that. Okay? A debauchee. A libertine. Which is crazy because you had that documentary based on true events. It was actually a Netflix series where there was this one frat of this a college frat who their name was like the Libertines. Their slogan was like Amwar. It was in another language, Amwar, the Libertines or something like that. And they were just nasty, filthy motherfuckers. Okay. A libertine is a man who behaves without moral principles or sense of responsibility. Tell me that's not Esau, Edom. It says, especially in sexual matters. See? There you go. There you go. That's Esau, Edom to the max. Okay. We know profane is outside the temple. But also profane is, ungodly. He's far from the spirit, having the spirit of the Most High. Okay? Profane is like fucking filthy, detestable, right? Yeah. So there's not a worse, more filthy, more demonic, more sinful people than the so-called white race. And it's all coming out. That's why he's called, these people are called the men of sin, the man of sin, which are a people of sin. Okay? He's the man of sin. This is the race of sin. Okay? And his destruction is nigh, in which it says that soon the Heavenly Father will rise up one that is profitable, right? The physician cometh to cut off a long disease. And he that is a king today, tomorrow shall die. All right? So for all this exposure, all you can do is toss up the halalium. And regardless, we do this. Regardless, it says, we give the praises to the Heavenly Father. It says incessantly we're to do that, to keep it on our mouth and our tongues. But this is even more justification to give the constant hallelujah, the praise to the Most High, all right? So with that, call hallelujah, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Chakodash, Shalom.